Hi friends, thanks for joining me. Here's another tag book that I made. This one is one that I actually ended up, I think I soaked this one in onion dye. So it's very organic and very wrinkly. It's got a lot of texture to it. And I made this book in August 2020. It's got some, I carved a lotus stamp. So that's the stamp there that I stamped on the front. I carved. There it is again. I also did quite a bit of sewing on this book. You'll see the strings. I like the feel of all those strings hanging off. And again, my tag book has ribbons in the little hole to make sure you know that it's a tag book. I wouldn't want you to forget that. This one is just, there's a lot of organic shapes and feel to this book, textures, kind of woodsy, outdoorsy. This was a leaf that I actually bound in the book and boiled, and so I just drew around the shape that was left on the page. Here's another stamp I carved of a tree. This book is really hard to turn the pages because there's a lot of glued things together. This is a drawing. Oh gosh, I can't remember the artist, but I just thought it went really well with this little watercolor that I did. And clearly I used it for other things because there's some cutouts. And that little tag right there says flock to go with this. I think this is a poem. I was trying to read this yesterday and I was coming up kind of, there's like part of it down here I can't read. So, that's not super important. It was very meaningful to me at the time, and the point is it gives a lot of texture to the page. This was a clover that I bound in the book, and so it's kind of flaking off, and I'm not going to mess with it because I don't want to peel any more of it off. This was a graphite that I wrote. I think I put some gesso down and then wrote in the gesso and then kind of worked around with watercolor. Some drawing. And this is another book where I have a lot of irregular pages. Like this is barely even a page, right? Like it's not square at all. But what a neat layering effect this gives when you flip the pages. I really like that a lot. And again, super organic with then some numbers, very logical, linear thinking to go with that. Again, I think those was hydrangeas that I bound in the book before I boiled it. And that's the marks that the hydrangeas left. Another short page. Actually, I think that's mostly just a tag right there. I was working on another bigger book project when I made this. And so there's a lot of materials that are go hand in hand with that other book. It's kind of a companion piece almost. And, as I flip through this, I think about working in that other book as well. But yeah, there's a lot. This page has a lot of watercolor on it. A lot of drawing, a lot of doodling. I think this was a magazine page that I worked in on top of. It almost looks like a stamp, but I can't tell. I don't remember what I did. More watercolor. I think I put tape down a lot. I don't know if the book was maybe falling apart because I boiled it. Sometimes when you've wet stuff and dried it a lot, the paper gets really fragile. So I was probably just trying to hold it together. My sewing machine it's basically trash. And so it does really wonky stitches, which is, in this context is really fun. If I were trying to sew an actual garment, I would probably be real mad, but this is pretty fun actually. I have a friend who always sends a postcard every year with when you pick your word of the year, she'll send a postcard, and my word of the year that year was smaction, which was small action. And so this was the postcard that she sent, which is a clear plastic sheet. It was very clever. And again, talking about that layering, this looks really cool to see through. And I just taped that in. That's clearly, you know, that's just taped in there with that black tape. Another friend of mine, Debbie, wrote some stuff out, and she gave me the page, and so that's from that. And then that's the end. There's that tag book. Thanks so much for joining me.